This is Jarrod Horak for the runawayhorse.com, and I'm going to give one final early look at the 2020 Preakness Stakes. The Preakness Stakes is going to be run on Saturday, October 3rd, 2020 at Pimlico Racecourse, part of an excellent card there. They're going to have a lot of good undercard stakes races on that program as well. Most likely at least 14 races will probably be run on Preakness Day. So the Preakness will be one of those races, up to 14 possible entrants right now. Tiz the Law is not one of them. As we mentioned in last week's preview video, there was a good chance that they were going to skip the Preakness and just point to the Breeders' Cup Classic for Tiz the Law because took him longer than they expected to recover out of the Kentucky Derby. Now, it's not a huge surprise coming off back-to-back mile-and-a-quarter races, and Tiz the Law has done a lot this year, and I think the time off will do him well. We'll have to see how he works. He's had a very easy half-mile work earlier today, and today it's Friday, September 25th, so he finally got back on the work tab for the first time since the Derby. They just took it easy, stretched his legs, and we're going to have to keep a close eye on him and watch his energy level as he gets closer to the 2020 Breeders' Cup Classic. But we're talking about the Preakness in this race, and there are 14 possible horses at this point. And let's go through those and see what their chances may be. The Excession for trainer Steve Asmussen. This one, Union Rags is the sire. Union Rags was a Belmont Stakes winner. And this one has not run in quite some time. He was second in the Grade 2 Rebel Stakes to Nadal on March 14th. Now in that race, there was a ridiculously fast pace. Excession was last. He rallied up the rail and he was able to finish second. He was trying to get to Nadal, but he couldn't run that one down. It was a good effort, but that race really did set up for him. He had a dream trip from off the pace. This is his first start in more than 6 months. He had a minor knee surgery after the Rebel Stakes, and now he's back in action, and most likely he's going to need the race. This is a heck of a tough spot to put him in his first start back. Now, local Maryland rider Sheldon Russell is going to pick up the mount on this one. Country Grammar for trainer Chad Brown is the son of Tonalist, and Tonalist won the Belmont Stakes. So Country Grammar is one that I don't think stamina is going to be really an issue. It's just how good is he. He won the Grade 3 Peter Pan Stakes at Saratoga earlier this year. Set a dream trip that day, inner post, saved all the ground, and he was able to get the job done. Caracaro was second, running wide throughout, and maybe Caracaro ran the better race there, but Country Grammar had the better trip. And then he was fifth in the Travers Stakes last time out. He's got some stalking speed. He's going to need to run the race of his life to threaten these. Max Player, a son of Honor Code, he was third in the Belmont Stakes and third in the Travers. And then he moved from Linda Rice to the Steve Asmussen barn, and he was fifth in the Kentucky Derby from an inner post. Now this is his second start for trainer Steve Asmussen. Now, as I said, he drew inside in the Derby, and if you look at all of his other races, and they were all pretty good, he seems to prefer rallying wide and from the middle of the track. So I think Max Player, if he can draw middle or outer type posts, maybe he can run a bit closer to how he did in the Belmont and Travers. If he does, he can hit the board. Paco Lopez is going to ride for trainer Steve Asmussen. Jesus' Team, a son of Tapiture, has tactical speed. Now, he had the lead in the stretch last time in the Grade 2 Jim Dandy. He was stalking the pace. He got the first run, but he couldn't hold off the closers. He was second in the Pegasus behind Pneumatic before that. He was fourth in the Grade 1 Haskell. Authentic won that one. He looks like he's a cut below the best horses in here. I like his tactical speed, but if he couldn't hold off horses that aren't quite as good as these in the Jim Dandy, I don't see how he's going to stalk Authentic, take the lead, and hold off the closers. Should set a good trip, though, stalking the pace. Liveyourbeastlife, a son of Ghost Sapper, he rallied nicely. He made a nice stretch run in the Jim Dandy to finish second. He is an improving late runner, but he's going to have to continue to improve to at least get a piece of this. I don't think he could realistically get any more than third or fourth, but if he continues to improve, I think he certainly could finish third or fourth. Swiss Skydiver, a filly for trainer Ken McPeak, and the sire on this one is Daredevil, and she's had an outstanding campaign this year. She was first in the Grade 2 Gulfstream Park Oaks, Grade 3 Fantasy Stakes, Grade 2 Santa Anita Oaks, and Grade 1 Alabama at 1.25 miles. So the 1 3/16 of the Preakness distance is just not going to affect her. She was second in the Grade 1 Kentucky Oaks last time out, and also second in the Bluegrass Stakes behind Art Collector. Now, Swiss Skydiver would certainly impact the pace if she runs here. But Ken McPeak isn't going to make up his mind until the last minute, he says. So we'll see where they go. If they just stay with fillies, maybe try older fillies and mares next, or we'll see what they end up doing. But Swiss Skydiver, if she runs in the Preakness, she could really impact the pace. Mystic Guide, a son of Ghost Sapper, he rallied from off the pace, putting blinkers on in the Grade 2 Jim Dandy. I've always liked this one. He was my top choice in the Peter Pan Stakes. As I mentioned, Country Grammar won that one. Caracaro was second. Mystic Guide rallied from off the pace. Now, Country Grammar and Caracaro were up on the pace that day, and the speed did not come back. Mystic Guide just got going too late in the Peter Pan, but the blinkers helped this one focus more, and he was able to rally and get the job done as my top choice in the Jim Dandy last time. He's one that can certainly hit the board in here. He seems to be improving, but we just don't know quite where he fits at the Grade 1 level against horses like Authentic and Art Collector. The next one is Happy Saver for trainer Todd Pletcher. This one is a son of Kentucky Derby winner Super Saver, and he's 3 for 3 lifetime. He's got a lot of upside. Now, I liked that effort last time. It was solid enough. It wasn't spectacular, but it was solid in the Federico Tessio Stakes at Laurel Park. And that race was a win and you're in for the Preakness Stakes, and Happy Saver won that race nicely. Now, that day, Monday Morning Quarterback controlled the pace, just got out there. The pace was slow. Happy Saver was sat in third early, got outside, started stalking from second, moving closer to the leader. The top of the stretch started to get even closer, and then started to inch clear late, and then under a bit of a hold in the very late going that it was able to secure that victory. Should have won that race, looked better than those horses. Like his tactical speed, he's lightly raced, he's on the improve, he has plenty of upside, he should keep improving, and he's one. Not sure if he's quite ready to win a race like the Preakness, but if they go here, we're going to find out how good he is. He's certainly going to offer a bit of value, and like I said, he has a lot of upside. We don't know how good he is yet. He's probably even better than he's shown. His best races are ahead of him. New York Traffic, a son of Cross Traffic, trained by Safi Joseph Jr. And this one has 4 graded route stakes placings on the main track this year, and he almost beat Authentic in the Haskell Stakes. Now, last time out in the Kentucky Derby, he had a lot of trouble. He lost a shoe, he sustained several cuts to his legs, his left front hoof, they needed to staple it closed because of the cut. But this horse has tactical speed, he tries hard, he's an overachiever, and if he can just get a clean trip and doesn't have any kind of problems in the race, he can certainly be up there chasing the pace, putting himself in a position so if a horse like Authentic comes back like he did in the Haskell, that will give him a chance to win. 1,000 words for trainer Bob Baffert. Pioneer of the Nile is the sire. That was American Pharaoh's sire. Triple Crown winner American Pharaoh. This one has 3 dirt route stakes victories to his name. They paid $1 million for this one. And one of the things you have to like most about him is his early pressing speed and his tenacity. When he gets out there and he's able to get the lead like he did in the Shared Belief Stakes, he just fought hard to the end. Did the same thing in the Los Alamitos Derby, the Robert Lewis Stakes. He was determined to win that one. So when he can get in a position to win the race, he's very determined and he doesn't give up. Now, he was entered in the Kentucky Derby, but he flipped in the paddock and he had to scratch. So now, hopefully, it looks like he's healthy again, and he's pointing to the Preakness Stakes. Authentic, your upset winner in the Kentucky Derby. Into Mischief is his sire. Now, he's obviously, you're looking at his career record. When he is able to get out there and control the pace, he is dangerous. He's one that I always liked this horse, but I just always thought that when you got to past a mile and an eighth, that was going to be his limit. He wasn't going to be able to do it. He's more like a miler. That was my thought about this one. And we're still going to find out overall how far he wants to go against tougher company as he continues his career. But right now, he's now proven. He proved me wrong. He proved in the Kentucky Derby that if he can get out there and control the pace against this kind of company, he's able to go at least 1.25 miles. The Preakness is a bit shorter than the Derby at 1 3/16 miles. And looking at the overall composition of the field right now, we do have some horses with good tactical speed, but there aren't a lot of horses that are going to be able to get out there and maybe beat him to the lead. That might be the key to him, his success or non-success in a race like the Preakness. If he can get out there like he did under John Velasquez in the Kentucky Derby, control the pace, and just get out there and use his cruising speed to his advantage, he could be tough to beat. If he's taken out of his game and he's forced to chase somebody else and the fractions are a bit quicker, most likely he's not going to be able to duplicate his Kentucky Derby effort. Art Collector is one that can certainly give fits to Authentic. This one is a son of Bernardini, and Bernardini was a Preakness winner, so he's the only one sired by a Preakness winner in this race. Now, he's 4 for 4 in 2020. He won the Grade 2 Bluegrass Stakes and the Ellis Park Derby, and he beat Swiss Skydiver in the Bluegrass Stakes. Now, the thing that's most impressive about Art Collector is he can beat you so many different ways. Whereas we just mentioned Authentic, he's most effective when he can control the pace and get out there. We don't know that Authentic can do anything else other than that at this point in his career, but we do know that our Collector can. He can set the pace, he can press the pace, he can stalk, or he can close. He pressed the pace in the Bluegrass Stakes, in the Ellis Park Derby. He went wire to wire. We've seen him close. He's just used so many different running styles in all his his victories this year. So he's one that's very versatile. He's got a lot of class. He had to miss the Kentucky Derby due to a minor foot injury. So that's really the only issue, is where he is from a fitness level compared to Authentic, who was able to run 4 weeks prior to the Preakness in a nice effort in the Kentucky Derby, and that should make Authentic fitter and stronger, whereas our Collector had to miss that race. He's going to come in much fresher. And so far, anybody that was worried that maybe he wasn't ready for the Preakness, that workout on September 19th was very strong. He had a 5 furlong workout. Actually, Authentic had the bullet for 5 furlongs, but our Collector, galloping out to 6 furlongs, galloped out better than Authentic, and then he galloped out all the way to a mile. And if you watch that workout, I did watch the replay of it, it looked very impressive. He looked like he had a lot of energy. They didn't want to stop. He was just rolling right along. So our Collector seems ready and on top of his game, and with his speed, if Authentic is slowing things down, our Collector can be up there, or our Collector they just might go to the front with him. We'll have to see what kind of strategy. It could be a cat and mouse game between those two, but they're both very classy horses with speed, and they're dangerous in the Preakness for sure. Mr. Big News, a son of Giants Causeway. Now, this was one I didn't expect to do well on the Derby. He ran better than I expected. He was 5th in the Risen Star Stakes. He was 1st in the non-graded Oaklawn Stakes in the slop earlier this year, but in that race the pace completely fell apart. All the speed horses were done, and closers dominated that one, and Mr. Big News was able to beat Farmington Road that day. So that race, as I said, was just a pace meltdown. And then he was 6th in the Bluegrass Stakes behind Art Collector, and then 3rd in the Kentucky Derby. He ran a much better race in the Kentucky Derby. He was able to sit in mid-pack, and he was able to grind past the other horses and get 3rd and get the job done there. So the late runner is probably going to need a lot of pace help in here. I don't know how much he's actually going to get, but he is working well. He seems to be improving, and at least he's not a closer at this point based on his Derby effort that's going to come from last in the Preakness. Maybe they're going to try to sit in like 8th or 9th place and try to rally from there if there's like a 14 horse field. And then finally, Pneumatic, a son of Uncle Mo. This one for Steve Asmussen as well. This one, I like his tactical speed, and he's had 5 career starts with 3 wins and a 3rd place finish. His 3rd was in the Matt Win. His only time he finished out of the top 3, 4th in the Belmont Stakes. He was 1st in the Pegasus Stakes last time. That was his career best effort, beating Jesus' team, so that was a good effort there. He's improving. He's got tactical speed. Joe Bravo is going to ride for trainer Steve Asmussen. My main question with him is the stamina. The mile and an 1/8 Belmont Stakes, his longest race yet, and that was only around 1 turn, and he finished 4th, and he was losing ground late. So I'm not sure that he really wants to go a mile and 3/16. I like that he's improving. I like his tactical speed, and I think he can work out a good trip, but it's just a question of how far does he want to go. So those are the horses that are pointing to the Preakness. Obviously, Authentic is going to be the one to catch. If he can get out there and control the pace again, he's obviously going to be a tough customer. If he doesn't do that, I think he's vulnerable. Obviously, Honor AP retiring and Tiz the Law skipping this race definitely helps his chances immensely. But Art Collector now is the fresh horse, and Art Collector was one. If you watch my top 5 horses, most likely winners for the Kentucky Derby, and I did that before I knew the field or anything, but Art Collector was one of those 5. He was going to be one of the favorites, most likely the 2nd betting choice he would have been in the Kentucky Derby, but he scratched, and now he's going to be certainly a dangerous threat to Authentic. And as I said, Pneumatic is one. Could be something, but I'm just not sure about the distance. Happy Saver has a lot of upside. We're going to find out how good. Swiss Skydiver could be the key to this whole race, because her participation could mean that the pace is going to be a bit quicker, and if she's in there, she's not going to quit. She's going to hang in there for quite some time and maybe give the speed horses some fits. Max Player can bounce back for Steve Asmussen. He's one that I think if you're playing exotics, I did use him as one of my exotic keys in the Kentucky Derby, but he was not able to finish in the top 3. He ended up finishing 5th. If he would have finished 3rd, I would have had the trifecta, because I did have a trifecta with Authentic on top, Tiz the Law 2nd, and I needed Max Player. or enforceable to run third to hit that, but I wasn't able to get that job done. So I'm going to be offering my Preakness full card at the runawayhorse.com, just like I did my Kentucky Derby Day full card. And the good thing about these full cards is plenty of other good races other than just the marquee race. Like Rushy was my best bet on the Kentucky Derby undercard, and I was able to hit some nice pick threes with him because he got the job done in the Pat Day Mile. So there's always other good stakes races with some good betting opportunities other than the Preakness or these big races, and tons of stakes racing is going to be happening at Pimlico on Saturday, October 3rd. So if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my YouTube channel, make some comments in the comment section. Who do you like in the 2020 Preakness Stakes? I know a lot of people like Authentic, and he's going to be a front-running threat, but he was 8-1 in the Derby. He's not going to be anywhere near that. He's going to be 6-5 or something along those lines in the Preakness, and it's worth trying to beat a horse like that at underlaid odds, even though he obviously could win the race. So that will wrap up this video, and I'll be back next week. I'll do my final Preakness look. We'll have the field drawn by then, and I'll give out my top selection in my next video. Until then, good luck at the races.